I've been doing this for a bit of over a decade. I can tell you one thing about large patient advocacy teams. It's not about effort. It's about, can you translate your efforts to the value that you bring to your large organization? You see, large pharma, biotech, med device companies all have the same thing in common: complexity. And with complexity comes insulation and silos and, unfortunately, trouble. Trouble for patient advocacy teams who don't have the visibility or the respect that they should have. And unfortunately, when you get to that size, it only gets harder if you don't have it established from the beginning. When you're a small team, you can build that trust fairly quickly. When you're a mid-sized team, you should have done some of that work ahead of time, but as you're growing, you got to continue to layer on all of the ways that patient advocacy function has helped the organization year after 5 years, after decade. Because you and I both know that patient advocacy does not happen in 90-day sprints. It happens in the years and the decades of engagement with communities who oftentimes don't trust us. It takes time to build that trust. But in very insulated organizations like yours at a large pharma, biotech, or med device company, we unfortunately can lose that trust very quickly. I've had the privilege of working with some of the largest teams in patient advocacy in industry. We're talking teams of 50, sometimes 75 individuals with $25 to $50 million budgets devoted to ensuring that patients that don't know that help exists is out there for them. And they do some amazing work with a large number of organizations. They're truly out there pounding the pavement. But the biggest problem that we continue to see is that whenever there's a leadership change, or better yet, whenever there's tightening of the belt, that lack of value as perception is their downfall. Don't let that be your team. This is truly where market research and data is your best friend. For far too long, I've seen large teams in pharma, biotech, and med device trust internal data sets. Internal data sets, reports that they've created and run, and their customers know that they're creating them and running them, and they're able to take results back inside and say, look how great we did. Look how wonderful we are. Look how much our customers love us. Well, I can tell you this, your senior leadership can sniff BS a mile away. If you're not hitting corporate numbers and you're not able to translate how advocacy work helps them to achieve corporate OKRs or objectives, you're not getting the job done. I've had the privilege of working with those large patient advocacy teams who've done it right. And I'll tell you, those that do it right continue to come back year after year because they understand the value, not only of the quantitative that shows that they're doing it right, but of the qualitative. The large teams that do it right look at the minutia. They get into the details of the report. We go slow to go fast. We go slow to make big impact. Teams like Johnson & Johnson, they've been number one for the last 11 years. And the way they've been the number one team for the last 11 years is by subscribing to our research and never being settled by thinking we've been number one and it's been a great history. I think we'll remain number one. No. As John Hoffman, who used to run that team, always said, he asked every single one of his therapeutic area leaders to dive in to our therapeutic area report and the executive summary and identify at least 2 to 3 tactics that they could do that were different than what had been done in the past that could drive impact in that next year. It's by never being satisfied and always speaking of your value to the greater organization, never getting siloed as a large company tends to allow to happen when you're in patient advocacy. That's what we're here for. We're here to tell your story to all of the teams across your enterprise and ensure that for those that know you exist, they understand how valued you are, not only by your own company, but by the patient community itself. And for the parts of your enterprise that don't know quite yet about you, Well, it's on us to help you tell that story. Allow us to help you work on your internal marketing, develop internal newsletters of the advocacy influence that you're having, what that means to the business, but more importantly, what that also means to the patients, that your employee base has all signed on to help. You can be the transformational leader that helps to knock down the silos within your own organization and lead from the front within patient advocacy. Lead the charge within patient advocacy. Don't be settled by being in the back and allowing folks to have to look behind their shoulder to wonder where patient advocacy is. You got here because you're not afraid to do things differently. Check us out at arco.io or send me an email at eleve@arco.io to understand how we can help your team stand out from the crowd, and better yet, help your team tell your story to your senior leaders about how they need to continue to invest in your organization, invest in patient advocacy, and invest in the patient voice.